Hey everybody, Rob from MTB Michigan, the Fat Pastor on a mountain bike. You may have seen on my Facebook status lately that I've been saying change is imminent. Well, you can see my gravel bike and you can see my wife's bike, but you can't see mine because change is imminent. So what does that mean? Let's find out. That's right. I got a new bike, and there's a big story behind it, and I'm going to share it all with you. But first, let's build it. Well, here it is. Hey everybody, finally get first ride day. So we're gonna take this puppy out and give her a test ride. Okay, so why did I choose this bike? First thing, I felt like it was time for a carbon bike, and this is a carbon bike. I've been hovering at 250, so I figured, you know what? I wanna give it a try. Of course, I'm looking at the bike. So I wanted to go carbon. And I've been looking at a number of bikes and suspension designs and really just settled on this one. Just a quick perusal. I mean, the specs, I'll put a link to all the specs, but long story short, just to give the highlights, it's SLX drivetrain, TRP, slate brakes, Fox 36 fork, KS dropper post WTB saddle, Pro Taper handlebars, and 29er Crank Brothers wheels and pedals. So it's pretty standard. Why did I choose this design? I've had some people looking at this and said, well, why did you choose this design? Well, this is basically based off of the Mert Law Wheel design, and I thought as a bigger guy, I can tell you the challenges that I faced with my stump jumper was that I felt it was a little too light duty and got a little flexy. So I felt this was a little more heavy duty and should be a little more stable laterally. But the other reason is because when you look at it, there's a couple different thoughts about suspension travel. As this goes up, on a stump jumper, the wheel actually comes inward a little bit. On this one, it actually goes outward a little bit. My thought process behind this is being a bigger guy, that the tire actually going outward a little bit on suspension movement, I felt it like in downhill, I felt it, but my thought was when you're seated and climbing, it would actually have somewhat of an inchworm effect that'll help you get up a hill. Now, when I say inchworm effect, think of the old slingshot frame design, and that's what I was thinking that the Law Wheel design might do now that I'm a bigger guy. So that's why I went with this. But other than that, you can see it's really pretty. I really dig this look. Eminent did a real cool job of making the bike, you know, not just a bike, but a kind of an experience. You open it up, it's just easy to pop together. All right, first moment of touching dirt. I'm on dirt on the Eminent. Okay, so first minutes here. Now I won't talk too much about componentry other than the TRP brakes.
The bug bounced off my teeth.
Aaron's got bug trouble. Now the TRP brakes over SRAM. Now the Stumpy had SRAM G2s. They were an improvement, but they still gave me trouble, needing to be bled constantly. So I'm glad to be on a different brand of brake. And so far these have a little more positive on-off feel, more akin to the Shimano brakes than to the SRAM's progressive feel. But I will talk about the frame feel and stuff like that today. And I will mention that the Crank Brothers wheels are wider and smoother, or not smoother, but wider and a little bit lighter than the Robles that I had on the stump jumper. Geometry is very similar. It's just basic current trends in geometry. So it's a very predictable feel in terms of how I ride. Because its measurables are similar to the size Stumpy I had. So yeah, one of the things I did notice that I forgot to tell you is that this has its own independent rear brake pivot to eliminate brake jacking during suspension action, and it moves independently of the suspension travel. So the idea obviously keeps that suspension from locking up when you're coming into chatter and braking in a downhill or something like that situation. It allows the brake to work and the suspension to work at the same time. One thing I've noticed, and I don't know yet what it's attributed to, but I know I'm riding a lot more miles these days than I have in the past, but I'm climbing in bigger gears on this than I did on the Stumpy. Now, part of that could just be that I'm stronger. Part of it could be that I feel the need to. All right, riding into the roller coaster. So just after the squirrel catcher is a test for this, because the Stumpy would always burp the tire when I went around this section here. And this one does not. So a lot more stiffness, a lot. A lot of plushies, but a lot of lateral stiffness. So sections like this test that rear brake with the suspension, and definitely even that little bit of motion seems to do something. Okay, you really can feel the brake. It really is noticeable. And again, I don't know if it's because this is 2 pounds lighter than my other one or what, but I seem to want to climb in higher gear every time. All right, we're gonna push through this. Oh my goodness. This bike is like a tuxedo t-shirt.
Pretty rad.
So look, I'm formal, but I'm here to party. All right. The Pines tabletops. First test. Eminent Onset LT. Large rider. Mosquitoes everywhere. 150% humidity, sweat in my eyes, gunga. Let's check it out. Oh, always helps to be in the right gear. So we'll just kind of take her easy. Oh. Okay, well, first ride is officially done on the Eminent Onset Comp LT. And like I said, man, there's only one thing I can say about this bike. That thing right there is a tuxedo t-shirt. It's formal, but it came to party. So keep in mind, I am doing this review from a big guy's perspective at a 250-pound rider who's been even bigger in the past, but at 250 right now, I'm trying to give a big guy's perspective on this. First thing I noticed right out of the gate, and I'm just going to be honest with you, this is a bike that I know I'm normally a positive person, and I say a lot of good things about a lot of things. I was really looking to critique the bike. So I'm going to give all the negatives right now. If there's a weak part on the bike, it's going to be the KS seat post. So if there is a weak part on the bike, it's the KS dropper seat post. The only other issue was I had minor adjustments to make for the shifting. So with that, next thing, TRP brakes. Like I said, my G2s were better than my guides when on my 19 or on my Remedy. They were better than my guides on my Remedy. So the Stump Jumper had better brakes than the Remedy, but honestly, I was not a fan of the G2s. TRPs, 10 times better. A lot of positive engagement, really happy with them. Okay, so ride performance, I'm going to be totally honest. I was looking for things to find wrong, and I couldn't. I can't. For my style of riding, the Law Wheel suspension design did exactly what I thought it would do. Now, I climbed in higher gears all day long, and my buddy Aaron, who rode with me today, can attest to that. I even found myself pushing bigger gears than I should have at some points, because it was inspiring and made me want to ride. I can't stop looking at it. Yeah, it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. Now, my theory about the suspension, now it's fact that an FSR design or a Horse Link design, that actually gets a little shorter in the stroke, whereas the Law Wheel design gets a little longer in the stroke. My theory on did that make me a better climber today, I can't tell you. I can just tell you that I climbed better today. It just seemed to work. It seems to fit my riding style. It was stiffer. Where I loved my stump jumper, but it was stiffer. So I could get into corners a little harder. I could be off camber and not feel like I had to be, you know, on a perfect line. So that was good. It's a little more travel and also a little lighter. So that definitely was noticeable. I could feel that it was over 2 pounds lighter. Other things to note, when it came to like getting into bumpy sections. So let me show you this. You can see it now. This guy right here, like I said, it moves as the suspension moves, and it keeps it independent. So you have the AFS suspension, and you have that floating rear brake. That was actually very noticeable, where you would see your bike want to bind up and you know, lock up a little bit. This does not do that, which was noticeable right away and made me, you know, a little hotter into corners. Now, granted, this has got a little wider tires than the other bike, so that wasn't an issue. But it was definitely noticeable that I was hitting things faster. Very stable. One of the things that I heard about this bike is that over jumps, it's you know, it didn't want to jump that well, or that it jumped, you know, pretty straight. Honestly, there's a lot of pop on this. I found myself on the first run on the Pines tables, overshooting a lot, which I have not really done. I had it dialed when I hit it before, so this got a lot of pop to it, and just, you know, it just nice and smooth. Once I hit it that second time, I was really comfortable with the whole thing, how it jumps, and it's easy to direct in the air, which makes me happy. Coming from being afraid to ride carbon to this thing, I tell you what, I mean, it feels alive. This bike feels so much more lively. Now, like I said, those things all probably add up to what I was feeling today on the trail, where I wanted to climb more, you know, in higher gears and stuff like that. But you know what? I can't believe I've been afraid of carbon. I've seen, you know, 350-pound guys riding carbon and, you know, having a blast on it, and I've been afraid to ride it because, you know, having been a big guy and going through, I wear things out, and you do, but I'll tell you what, this thing feels so much more lively than I was expecting. So all in all, I can't tell you how excited I am that I did, you know, after doing all the research. There were several bikes on my short list, and every time I kept coming back to the Onset. I can't tell you how excited I am that the thing went on sale, and I got it, you know, for the 4th of July sale at half price. This was a great decision. If you ride like my style of riding, where you've got, you know, some downhill experience and want to play on the bike, but still want to, you know, get your miles in and keep your fitness level up, this thing is really, really nice. I'm really excited. It fits my riding style even better than I thought. Of the bikes that were on my short list, I can't tell you how glad I am it worked out to get this one. So that's the story. You're going to see more of this thing. You're going to see, obviously, because it's my mountain bike now. yeah, with that, I'm going to get packed up. I'm packed up. I'm going to go home and call it a night. So you guys live the faith and ride it out, and I hope to see you.